Welcome. I'm going to share with you a little practice that I use as a tool for mindfulness and stress relief. And what I'm going to do is just show you a simple origami folding exercise. And I hope that you find this as practically useful as I do. So we take a piece of origami paper and we fold it both ways along the long edge. And with origami, you don't want to get stressed out, but it's really good to really make sure that you have pretty precise folds. So that would not be a precise fold, and that would. So you want to make sure that you kind of figure out how you like to do it. Some people like to fold origami holding it. Some people like to use a flat surface. I kind of do a combination of both. We're going to go both ways. And if you have colored paper, you want to, for this part, it's good to have the color on the outside. So you fold it both ways, increase it so that you have kind of like a X there. And then what you're going to do is flip it over, and with the color on the inside, go corner to corner. Again, you want to make sure that you get your corners as precisely aligned as you can. Now what you do is you turn it over with the white side up and push the center down and bring up all the corners together. Get a little flower shaped thing like this. Bring them together and just push two flaps together on either side and press that down. Okay, now this is a stage where it's important to make sure that you're going in the right direction, because at this point you can do it in several different ways to end up with different projects. So what we're going to do is, you can notice that this smaller square now has an end that is actually open up and an end that's closed. So what we're going to do is put it down, and I'm going to put the end that's opened up towards me, and I'm going to make what I call the airplane fold. So an airplane fold is when you take a flap and fold it in towards the center line, making it go into a point, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So if you see, I folded these flaps in right to the center line, going to a point here. Now again, it's important, and this is a common mistake, it's important that when you do this, that the point is going towards this open end. There's another project I like to do that goes the other direction, but this is the way that we're going to go for this one. And you make that airplane fold. That's how most people make a paper airplane. They fold in, start folding in like that. Okay, so that's the first part. Then you just turn it over and do the same thing on the reverse side of the mirror image. Most of this project is going to involve complete symmetry between the sides. Okay, so now I have that folded on both sides. So I went from this, and I folded in right along that center line, and this I folded right along that center line, and the same thing's on this other side. Okay, and there is a little line there already that you can follow. Okay, now you have a little diamond shaped thing. What you're going to do is take this smaller end of it and fold it back and forth and get a nice crease right in that part. Now this is what I find to be the most beautiful fold in origami. I feel somehow that when I do this fold, it's an opening fold, and I just enjoy it. So it's a little tricky to figure out at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's very intuitive. So what you're going to do is, again, put it put it down with the short side away from you and the long side towards you. What I do is I actually open the flaps up and I fold them backwards a little bit, actually, to facilitate this next move. So I just fold them so they're kind of more pointed backwards a little bit towards me. Put that down, and then what I do is I lift up this edge here. So if you can see, I'm lifting up this edge. Now there's a fold here. Remember when we folded back and forth? There's a fold there. We're going to open this up here, and we're going to lift up this one little edge. I would usually do this on the table, but I'm just doing it up in the air to show you. So I'm going to fold this up, and it's going to articulate right on that line there. Okay, and as it does that, it's going to open up and open up just like that. It's a very beautiful fold. So what happens again, I'm going to show you, is I take this up, and you can see what happens to the edges. They kind of open up and close down on themselves so that you end up with that. Now, it might take a few times of practicing to figure that one out, but once you figure it out, it's a common move in origami, and I find it to be very satisfying somehow. Then you turn it over, and we do the same thing. I open up these flaps here. I fold them back a little bit. Again, that's just to facilitate the opening fold. And then, again, I do this usually on the table, but I'm holding it up just so you can see. And then I lift this up, articulating along this line here, and closing it and opening it like that. Now we have this shape. And at one end you have two little flaps. At the other end it's not two little flaps. Okay, so now what you do is the end where there are two different flaps, we're going to do another airplane fold. So I'm going to show you how that works. Okay, so that's what it's going to come out like. So what I did was I took these flaps and I folded them into the center line, increase that down, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, I went out and folded into the center line, And now we're almost there. So now you have this elongated diamond shape, and what you do is I usually hold it like this, with kind of like the flaps held down on both sides with my thumb and first finger. And then if you look at it, you're going to see right in here that you can open this up, and I open that up so that this is kind of like perpendicular there. Okay, when you open it up like that, you'll see, you might not see it, but you can find it, there's actually a line, a fold right across there, and you're going to take this flap and fold it straight up. So you're going to take that flap here, so we're opening this up, and then taking this flap and folding it straight up, and then closing it back on itself. Okay, I'll show you that again. So we're going to open here, fold this flap up to the middle, and then close it. Then we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to open it up, fold up to the middle, and close. Okay. Now we have two little tips here. I'm going to pull one out a little bit. In this one you can go at whatever angle you want. I usually go kind of about a 45-degree angle, but you could go deeper if you want, you go higher if you want. And at this point we're going to do the one non-symmetric move, which is we're going to choose one of these sides and fold down just a little bit at the head. I fold it in on itself a little bit like that. Okay, that's actually going to be the head. And And then you take these are the wings here, and you fold them down. And it's important to fold them down as far as they'll go. I'll show you what I mean by that. So some people, if you can see, will just fold it at this point, that wide point. You don't want to fold it at the wide point. You want to actually fold it down a little bit where it meets the body of the rest of the fold. You make a fold that way. Okay. And you crease that, and now you take these two and you can pull them apart if you need to. You can, actually there's a little hole there, you can blow in like that, fill it up, but on this paper you don't actually need to do that. Just pull it apart gently, and I usually put a little bit of a curve in these, and these are the wings, and that's my crane. Now, if you ever come into my office, you might see a lot of these on my desk on a given day. This is what I do in order to avoid getting stressed out. So some people just are immune to stress, but I'm not on that level yet, so I have to do little things to keep myself from getting irritated sometimes, and this is one of the things I do. Now, the first 10 to 20 times you may do this, it might actually be a little stressful because you're figuring out how to do it and learning the folds and making mistakes, and that's normal. But once you get the hang of it, it becomes something you can do almost without thinking about it, and it can be a very mindful, relaxing exercise, and you end up making a very beautiful creation which can keep you company, or you can give it as a present to people, which is what I like to do. So enjoy.